Hey, what's going on, guys? We're in my kitchen because I want to do a review on my somewhat new, because I've had it for a while now, Case kitchen cutlery set. Guys, most of you guys know who follow the channel that I've had a cold steel kitchen cutlery set for a little over 2 years. I loved it. Nothing wrong with it at all. But the one thing that was missing that I did use quite often was a steel. Alright, so on the cold steel one, I ended up having to use a separate knife steel, and I use this pocket steel from Gerber. If you like this is actually a really interesting tool to have, not just for your kitchen stuff, but for all of your knives. I was able to find another one of these, okay, and I will do a full, in-depth video on steels and how useful they are to you. And I did find another pocket one like this. Not Gerber, different brand. You're going to see that. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but I'll do a review on these in the future. But I was forced to use a separate tool with those knives because a kitchen steel is very useful. Okay, this set had one. That's what mostly attracted me to this set, is having a kitchen steel. Now the purpose of a kitchen steel is to straighten your edge out. Okay, you can have a very sharp knife, and when you're using it, your edge can roll just a little bit. It can be just a little bit off from being straight, and it appears as if the knife is dull, but it is not. You still have a very usable, very sharp edge. It's literally kind of just bent over, so when you go to cut straight, it's no longer facing down, it's facing on an angle, so it feels like it's dull. There's more resistance into cutting into meats and vegetables and so forth. And all you need is a steel. You don't need to sharpen the knife blade. You don't need to take off metal. You don't need to shape it. You just need to bend it back into its original form, which is straight. And that's the purpose of this tool. A lot of people have these in their kitchen. They don't know what they're for. That's what it's for. It's not to sharpen. Okay? That's confusing because sometimes they're called a sharpening steel. There are sharpening rods with ceramics on there, as well as diamond ones, which is a little more rare, but that do literally sharpen. This is a steel. Okay, I'll make more in-depth videos talking about this, but anyway, this is a requirement for a new kitchen set, okay? And when I was looking at different companies, Case popped in my head, and I was wondering, maybe they have one, because obviously, they make very traditional stuff, and I really wanted a traditional wood set. And when I saw this set, I thought, that's perfect. The only thing this is missing, and let me actually take it out of here so you can see what I'm talking about from a different angle. Let's see here. There we go. Look at it like this. The only thing this set is missing that I had the cold steel set was a set of steak knives. Okay. Now, if you watch most of my videos, you'll know my biggest, strangest secret is that I like using butter knives to cut my meat. Why? I don't know. I can't quite answer that one. The philosophy behind it really is that if you can't use a butter knife to cut your steak or meat or whatever, it's too tough. The knives that I have, let me show you here. These are the butter knives I have, and they actually have, it's not sharp, but it's a very acute edge. Okay, so these do cut through pretty much anything I need to. So when I'm having a steak, even if it's a little well done, or I forgot about it and it's a little tough, I can cut through it with this knife with no problem. So I don't have a specific need in my household for a steak knife set. That being said, Christina is normal, so when she's eating here, she does prefer to have some kind of a knife, so I give her a paring knife or something usually. But yeah, it's not a requirement for me. Of course, you'd like to see it. It's a nice bonus. But I very much was okay with trading a full set of steak knives for the steel. This is much more important to me for my kitchen set. So anyway, as far as the price difference, the cold steel sets go for about 150 bucks. Okay, pretty much everywhere. The Case set is also about 150. You will see this range. Saw it on eBay for $140, brand new, like $6-7 shipping, very reasonable. That's about as low as I've seen it. Didn't really check Amazon yet. You can see these as high as $180, $190 for the set. Do shop around, like I said, eBay, $140. That's a big difference. That's a $50 difference. All right, so obviously be a good consumer and shop as much as you possibly can before you get to buy something. Unless it's like a time-sensitive situation, you should probably spend 2-3 days just really researching and trying to find that very best price. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of this myself, and proud to say I'm guilty of it. I will pay a little more to support a small business or like a knife shop I like, or people who I enjoy talking to, stuff like that. There's certain relationships I made over the years with different companies, and they may not have the best price on something, but I don't mind supporting them. So anyway, so far I've used this set. I've loved this set. There are some different things about it that I at first, I'll get right to it. Here's the one thing. This is their paring knife. Their paring knife is very acute, okay? Very skinny and extremely pointy. Now, when I was going to get this, I purposely got another one of their knives. Hang on a second. Keep it in the drawer. There's actually two here. These are not part of this set, but I got this particular tomato knife, serrated, because I want to check it out. It seemed very interesting. And I purposefully got this style paring knife because this is a more, I guess, traditional style. Most kitchen sets will have a paring knife of this shape. Alright, I was afraid that I might not like how acute this one is. Alright, and I thought maybe I wouldn't like just the general shape. So I ended up getting this one. It also, you can see, has a much fatter handle. This is what I was used to. It was this style in the Cold Steel set. So I ended up getting both, with the mindset that I might not like this and I can always replace this in the set. Okay, it turns out, even though this is great, works fine, it's what I'm used to using, I much prefer this one. Having that acute point and having such a smaller size, even in the handle as well, gives you a ton of control. So you can make very fine little cuts with this. So I've grown to really like this one a lot, and it's one of my most used knives. I mean, generally speaking, if I'm cutting something up, even if I'm doing an onion or something, instead of grabbing a big chef's knife, or something else, I will gravitate towards a smaller knife in the kitchen. All right, it's not always what's meant to be used. Obviously, let's say I have an onion of, I don't know, 4-inch diameter or something, and this doesn't quite make it all the way over. More times than not, I'll use this and make a second cut as opposed to going to the chef's knife or something. I'm just more accustomed to using smaller knives in the kitchen. But that's just my personal preference. But anyway, point being is that I was a little worried it would be a little bit too acute, a little bit too pointy, a little too small, but it actually turns out it's one of my most used knives, so I love it. As far as the construction here, you get a really nice wood block. All right, you can see here, it's a very long set, so mine's over in the corner as to not take up too much room. I end up putting too much crap on my counters. I always take it off and then put stuff back because I'm using it all the time. But anyway, beautiful block, nice engraving on there. Case logo. All these handles are a walnut on all their knives. Alright, so you have solid walnut handles. Alright, the logo is on each knife. You can see the pins there. Very smooth finish. Alright, blades, of course, mark case, mark the model number, made in USA. That is pretty big. A lot of people really value that. Alright, made in USA. That means a lot to a lot of people. But anyway, of course they come razor sharp, same stainless steel you get seen in a lot of their different knives. It's been great. I absolutely love it. As far as the exact knives you're going to get in here, it's a 7-piece set, and when you look at kitchen knife sets, it's always a little confusing. I don't know why, but the block is always considered a piece. Alright, so when you get to the bigger sets and you're like, okay, yeah, 15, 18-piece set, and you're like, oh, 17 knives, or like 16 knives and a pair of scissors, and like, where's the last thing? It's always the block. I don't know why it's considered a piece, the block. But anyway, so you get your steel. This happens to be a 10-inch steel. Alright, very traditional design on this, nothing funky. It works beautifully. Okay, and like I said, I'll do videos in the future talking about that more. Alright, besides that, you get your chef's knife. This is an 8-inch chef's knife. Works beautifully. No real complaints with it at all. I mean, it's a great knife. As far as the feel, I mean, it's not really that much of a negative because generally speaking, when I'm using it, I'll choke up like this, so I don't have too much problems at all. But if you were to cut like this, I guess this is it feels a little unfinished on the bottom here. Okay, so maybe, I mean, a little rounding. You won't see this too much on kitchen knives, but if I were to make custom kitchen knives one day or something, I always talk about how I love the rounding in the spine. You don't need to use this to strike your flints and stuff. I mean, I would make every kitchen knife spine nice and rounded, nice and conformed, and especially if there's any kind of parts on the ricasso here. I would round all that stuff because your hand is in and around right here on most kitchen knives. Okay, that's how you're handling them. So it's not really a hit on case though, because I don't really see it on any knives. Most kitchen knives are very straightforward in manufacturing. All right, there's not a whole lot going on. But anyway, there is your 8-inch chef's knife. Coming down here, we have our slicing knife, and this is 9 inches. Okay, you'd use this for, you know, carving and just general purpose. All right, a little bit of belly towards the tip there. It's really nice. I use this probably the least of all the knives. Paring knife I use, the bread knife I use, chef's knife I use, of course. The boning knife I actually use quite a bit as well. So here's the boning knife. All right, this is a 6-inch blade, very traditional, very sturdy. This is very good for quartering chicken. It's cheaper to buy a whole chicken and cut up yourself and remove the skin than to just buy skinless, boneless stuff. But you know, it's convenient. Some people pay extra for it. And then of course the bread knife. This is a very, very good bread knife. All right, 8 inches, very simple scallop serrations. Okay, you're gonna see this on a lot of bread knives. It's a very effective design, and also easy to sharpen. You can see it's their miracle edge, is what they call it, and made in USA. Every single piece. The walnut feels good. It's a darker wood. They feel very light too. They're not heavy. They're very wieldy, if you will. So there's no fatigue if you've used this for a really long time or something. But very cool. I will do videos in the future on these separately because they don't come in the block. This one's really interesting. There's the model, in case you want to look that up. All right, and they might review that paring knife as well. So anyway, these reside in the drawer. There's the sets. I might eventually get another steak knife set just to have in case this company over or something, or so Christina has a normal steak knife. But I'm sticking to my butter knives. Don't ask me why. It's just that's the thought. That's the theory behind me using butter knives. I always have, ever since I was a little kid. I mean, I'll use a steak knife if someone hands it to me or something, if I'm at someone's house. But if I'm home, you better believe it. You walk in on me eating a steak, it's a fork and a butter knife. So anyway, so that is the case cutlery kitchen set. I highly recommend it. It's very traditional. Pros again is the steel on this. Any kind of cons or negatives would be there's no steak knife set, and some people do rely on that in their kitchen. It's actually kind of ironic because my parents didn't have like a good steak knife set. And when I decided I was going to get this, I ended up deciding that I was going to give them my cold steel set, and that's what they love most about it. I mean, of course, they love the kitchen knives that come with it, you know, and they do use them, but they were most excited about having, you know, an actual set of steak knives. So, Case does offer a set of steak knives, which I'll probably end up going with, just so it's like a matching set. Not 100% yet, but you know, I love their kitchen set. It's totally worth the money. The quality is there. It's very classy. It's very old school. I'll have this set for many, many years to come. So anyway, I just want to review it. I do get messages all the time, believe it or not, about kitchen cutlery. I don't do a whole lot of reviews on them because, you know, like I said, I've been using the same set for over 2 years. But now that I have a new set, I absolutely love it, and I'm not opposed to trying other sets out in the future, and maybe doing giveaways or something like that. But just depends. I like this one. I don't see any reason why I'd want to keep trying different kitchen cutlery. Once you kind of get, it's not like pocket knives or fixed blades or something where you can kind of get bored with things, or maybe just want to try something new. Kitchen knives, you know, you get a good set like this, they work. They always will work. You know, you keep them sharp and you steel them, which we'll talk about in the future. There's no reason to ever get a new set. But anyway, that's all. Stay tuned. I will talk about these pocket steels. Like I said, I have a brand new one and a good source to get them. Alright, so if that's interesting to you, well, you'll learn about that in a new video coming up. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.